Hello everybody, it is October 2nd at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you're watching Sokamai. And we're going to be playing Stardew Valley today. We are continuing our Merciful Challenge, which is to say we are not doing any harm to any monsters in the game. Not a single point of damage can be dealt throughout the entire playthrough, and we're going to try to complete the community center by the end of year 2. Hi there. Good morning. I noticed that you've been breaking some rocks open and finding ore. That's good. If you want to get the most out of the ores you'll find, you'll need a furnace. Just so happens I had an extra set of blueprints lying around. Here, I want you to have them. The furnace allows you to smelt metal bars. The bars can be used for crafting, construction, and tool upgrades. When you've smelted a few copper bars, consider having me upgrade one of your tools. It can make your work a lot easier. Well, okay, I'm heading home. Take it easy. Alright, so we just got the furnace recipe. It is going to take some time before we can actually make one because we've only got 16 ores, courtesy of the quarry in the bottom left hand of the farm, since we're playing Mountaintop. Advertisement! I keep finding cool stuff, but my backpack is full. Does this sound like you? Well, Pierre's got you covered. Stop by Pierre's General Store today and check out our affordable size 24 backpack. See you soon! So we definitely can't afford that with 100G. And one of our new goals is to craft a furnace. Well, one thing we can do to get started is check out, see if we have any copper ore, which it doesn't really look like we do, but I do see a couple of artifact spots down there I would like to get. So we're really not going to see the challenge aspect of this playthrough until we unlock the mines. So we'll need to wait for Jojiko to break down that boulder in front of the mine shaft before we can actually see the effects of the Merciful run. Now, I don't necessarily know if breaking up rocks on the quarry helps with ore generation, but we do need the stone anyway. And you might be thinking it could be worth my time to break up rocks on the actual farm itself, but this is just what I feel like doing. If breaking up these rocks will allow for more places for ore and geodes to spawn, then I am happy to do this. Jeez, it's already taken over half my energy. Alright, looks like we've got 3 artifact spots here in the quarry, so mixed seeds, rock, and clay. So unfortunately no artifacts yet, but I am certain we will run into one soon. So one thing we are going to do before we get started is we are going to go foraging for spring onions. They're a pretty consistent method of getting some free energy. Speaking of, and looks like we got some. Excellent. We'll hold on to these for now. Looks like we got a higher quality one, so we'll go ahead and eat that and then pick up that clay we just dropped. We can return back to the farm and drop this stuff in our inventory off, and let's see, what do we want to do with today? We've got enough energy that we could clear off some space in the farm, get some more resources, because we definitely need the wood and the stone. I also want to break open these 4 geodes we found. So we're going to have to stop by Clint's before 4 p.m. 100G should be just enough to afford breaking up on all those geodes, so thankfully we don't have to spend any energy watering today because it is raining. Okay, I think this looks good to me. Well, maybe instead of breaking apart debris on our farm, we'll do some fishing. Do still want to break open these geodes though, so... You know what I just realized? Oh, okay. This crystal looked a lot like an actual artifact, or rather a mineral you can get. You can check which ones that you've acquired over here, but I know there's one that's like a purple crystal. Looks very similar to that decoration. I'm honestly surprised I didn't think of that before. Looks like we got someone that needs some help. So, just to check our calendar here, it looks like our first birthday coming up is Mayor Lewis this Sunday. I'll try to keep an eye on that. I'm looking for someone to bring me 20 copper ores to see if any rare gems are hidden inside. Yeah, might as well. I mean, we can't really access the mine yet, but we might be able to find some more copper spawning on the farm, and at some point they updated the quests, specifically the fetch quests from the billboard, where if you have to gather something, or a certain amount, for example, this copper ore, I do already have 16 copper ores, but it doesn't count unless I have recently harvested them from a source. So we have to get 20 brand new copper ores, because apparently old ores are not worth looking at. I think that might have been with the 1.5 update, because you would have been able to just bring him 20 random ores you had laying around, but I guess that was too easy. Alright, 25G per geode, so we'll be fresh broke as soon as we're done breaking these open. So both of these, all 3 of these. Yep, these 3 minerals we'll be able to donate, so that's going to help us slightly. The more you donate to the museum, they're prizes that Gunther will give you. Abysmal. Not a single piece in the entire collection. What's this? You found something. Let me see it. Remarkable. It's very old. I'd love to study this in greater detail, but it is yours. I've got a favor to ask you. Would you consider donating any new artifacts or minerals that you find? We could make a groundbreaking discovery together. Oh, and who knows? If you keep donating, I might come across some interesting items to send your way. Think about it, will you? If you decide to donate, just bring the objects to the front desk. Yes, I will happily donate all of these. I do like to organize the minerals and artifacts in here, but not until I have some more to organize everything by. So we've got a little clay in our inventory. I don't care if we end up throwing that out or not, but we're going to go fishing. So again, for those of you who have never played the game before, there are 5 primary skills, which are farming, foraging, combat, fishing, and... oh no, what's the last one? Well, I'll remember it in a second. But the fishing minigame, in order to catch a fish, you have to keep the little fish icon on this green bar. Now, the first catch is always the easiest because the meter on the right never decreases. But, for example, for this next fish, you'll be able to see just how difficult it can be to actually catch these guys. Or I'll just pull it up. That's fine too. I'll look around for a fishing spot real quick. It doesn't look like we've got any special spots. When you can see the water bubbling up, that means there's a lot of fish underneath that will bite quickly. The little meter up top when you're casting your line out determines how far out you throw, and can also affect the quality of the fish that you fish up. Generally, that doesn't really matter until a later game when you have a higher fishing skill. So as you can see, the bar on the right will increase as the little green bar is over the fish icon, and it will decrease anytime it's not, and if it hits the bottom, then you lose the line. Fishing in the rain can be kind of difficult because you tend to get higher difficulty fish that come out as a result of the rain. I didn't realize I was going to get rewarded for that. Sweet. Yes, farming, mining, foraging, fishing, and combat are the 5 skills. They start at level 0, you can get them up to level 10. At level 5 and 10, you get to milestone improvements. But otherwise, they just kind of improve the efficiency at which you use those tools, which is to say how much energy it costs. Alright, this fish is quite a bit easier to catch. And we're going to hold on to all our fish for now, because we want to be able to donate as much as we can to the community center once that opens up. It's probably another sardine. Yep. That's fine. See, because we had a really good catch there as far as keeping the icon, or keeping the reticle over the icon, then we'll get a higher quality fish out of that, which gives you more energy and health if you eat it raw, and sells for a higher price than a normal quality fish. The principle of quality applies to most things in the game that you can harvest, and sometimes you just fish up garbage. I don't know if we're going to get anything besides sardines in the ocean right now, so we're going to keep fishing in the river just for a couple more times, see if we can catch anything different than catfish. There are a few different fishing locations that spawn different fish. Of course, there are... oh, Nelly. There are some differences between the freshwater and saltwater fish. You can only catch the saltwater fish at the ocean, freshwater fish anywhere else. But between the river in town here, as well as the mountain lake up by where Mars family lives, and the Cindersnap Forest Lake, there are different fish that spawn in these locations. Now, typically I would have the wiki to go off of to tell which fish I'd be able to catch where, which would be very useful for completing the community center, but as I had stated either in the first or second episode, I am not going to be using the wiki at all. This is also something that can happen during a fishing game, is you can find treasure chests, and you have to take your focus off of the fish usually to open them up, but if you catch the fish successfully, you get the reward inside. This time it was 2 coal. Sometimes you can get some really good things out of those chests, so I usually do try to go for them. Ew! Joja Cola is one of the few pieces of trash you can gift to certain villagers that won't make them immediately upset. Can't remember who, though. Oh, dang it. Like in most games with fishing minigames, there are a visual and audio cue for when you've got something on the line. Of course, the visual cue is the exclamation point above your player's head when you catch, even if it's trash. And it also makes that little chirp. But sometimes you'll hear other noises that the fish makes biting the bobber, just to try to throw you off. You can actually also change the sound that plays. I prefer the original. Do you hear the boogeyman? I honestly don't know what those noises are. I always just assumed it was a boogeyman. Some kind of animal out in the forest, probably. So as far as trash goes, it is literally worthless. If you dump it into your bin here to try to sell, you will get nothing for it. Except maybe Joja Cola, I forget. But something you can do with trash later, which, yeah, it doesn't look like we have access to that now. There is a sort of composter, or rather I should say a recycling machine that you can feed trash into and get useful things out of. So I might actually hold on to these 2 pieces for now. Algae can be especially helpful as it can give you energy raw, but when you get access to the kitchen, there are some good recipes you can make with it. So these 3 fish I'll hold on to. I think I'll just throw away the Joja Cola. So we're getting closer to the end of the day. I am going to try to do a little more fishing before we wrap up. Who else but a Stardew Valley farmer could eat 9 raw onions back to back? Dude's gonna have a stomach of steel. Actually, we're gonna go up to the mountain lake quick, see what we can find there. We can also check this path for forages along the way. Forageables? Foraging? Whatever you would say. You might also notice these weird statues. It's a little difficult to see at nighttime, but there are certain totems you can use out of your inventory that will allow you to warp to certain locations. that's not going to be for a while. In the next day or two, that fella breaking apart the rock should be done with his job and we'll be able to enter the mines. And then you can actually see what it's like to explore the dungeons without being able to hit monsters. It does involve a lot of running around. We're getting a pretty good variety of fish here. I don't know how many of these are involved in the bundles, but as many as I can donate will be preferable. Usually by the time that I'm working on bundles, I forget that there are fish you have to donate, and it's usually summer by the time I realize there are spring fish that I missed. So have to wait all the way until next year until I can actually complete some of those. And for those that have never played before, a lot of this talk is not going to make a lot of sense, but you will catch my drift soon. We are coming up on midnight here, so this might be the last one or two fish. Actually, maybe the last one, because... yeah, okay, that's it. I would like to go back to the farm and spend the rest of this energy chopping up wood, breaking up stones, right before we have to turn in. So even though the game yells at you when it becomes midnight, it is not necessarily a sign that you're going to suffer any consequences unless you stay up past 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. Alright, so let's pull out all of our implements. We're going to double check the weather real quick. Beautiful sunny day, so we're going to have to spend some energy watering the crops, which is fine. I think we're going to chop down some trees. I could always use more wood. So as you saw Clint say in the start of this stream, you can upgrade your tools. They become more efficient to use, which is to say that they take less energy when you swing them, but they also are better at what they do. So for example, the axe, when you upgrade it, once you get it to its final form, it can end up felling trees within 3 swings, I believe. Very nice. I fear we're not going to be able to achieve that level of excellence with our tools before the end of the run. Oh, look, our sardine sold for 100 gold. And I guess, well, the sardine itself only sold for 50, but the Joja Cola is 50 a pop, so for some reason that counts as a fishing treasure, so guess that makes sense. You don't really find Joja Colas anywhere else, unless you get them out of a vending machine. So we're on to day 4. I know the past 2 parts have been 1 day per part, but I am going to try to condense it a little bit. Do multiple days per part, because otherwise we're going to have over 200 parts to this if we end up going all the way to spring year 2, or rather, end of year 2. And I don't feel like making that many uploads. Looks like our parsnips are coming along nicely. Okay. So watering our whole field takes about 80 energy, which makes sense. It takes about 2 energy to use a watering can, and we have 40 parsnips. Just gonna real quick fill this back up, and then we can check the mail. See what's going on today. Robin here. I know there's a lot of stones scattered around your farm. If you have a surplus, you might consider having me build a well for you. Wells can be placed all over your farm and serve as convenient places to refill your watering can. Just swing by my shop with 75 stones and 1000 G when you're ready for it. Yeah, I think 1000 G is going to be a pretty long ways off for me, and don't think a well is going to be the first thing I'm going to spend it on. Ideally, I think the first purchase, as far as upgrades go, would be a bigger backpack, because just having the 12 slots really is not a lot. Especially when you're doing things like exploring the dungeons or clearing out debris on your farm, etc. Especially if you have more than one crop, then harvesting becomes a real pain too, because oftentimes, while most of your crops will be of normal quality, you will also be harvesting silver and gold quality crops at the same time, which each take up their own inventory slot. So I would much rather have an expanded inventory just for the convenience, but also for the time savings. And you may have guessed, but these giant stumps and giant boulders on the farm, I will not be able to break those until I have upgraded the tools. You can see some of the stumps are strategically placed to block your pathway on the hilltop farm. And aside from the test stream I did of this, I have never played any farm other than the standard before. At least for a legitimate playthrough. I just like having all the farm space. I usually make gigantic farms with thousands of crops, so having the space taken up on the hilltop farm or the river farm by all the other land features was not very appealing to me. My playstyle is normally just going for make as much money as you can as quickly as possible and just get filthy rich and buy whatever you want. Some of the items in the game are really expensive. For example, there's a scepter you can buy later on in the game that lets you immediately return to your farm right in front of your cottage door anytime you want, from any place you want, with no cost. And that, I believe, costs 2 million G. We're very lucky to have a library in such a small town. When you're lost in a book, it's easy to forget the realities of your life. Maybe that's why I like reading so much. Sorry, I got carried away there. I haven't explored Penny's storyline that much, but she has definitely got a troubled home life. The saloon can get pretty lively at night. Sometimes we even put a coin in the jukebox. I like to visit once a week or so to catch up on things anyway. Alright, so we don't have access to the mines, and Mayor Lewis does not want to open up the community center for us yet. So I guess we're going to do a little walking around, see if we can find anything to forage. Well, here's an artifact spot. Maybe we'll find something. Lost book. Yes, so the Lost Book expands the library's collection of books, and basically they're just tips to play the game that are worded in ways that make it seem like it's actually a written book. Here, I'll show you. Oh, and sometimes it's just flavor text for some of the plot in the game. So I'm not going to read through all this, but the gist of it is they teach you how to harvest, how to plant, and how to ranch. I already know the vast majority of the information I could learn from these books, so I'm not going to bother reading them. But I would recommend it for people who are new to this kind of game, or even just this game in general. I don't have my fishing rod with me, but you can also go to the beach to find foraging. You get things like periwinkles and clams and oysters, but it doesn't look like there's anything washed up quite yet. Not since the last time we were here, anyway. We'll go say hi to Granny Evelyn. Where are you going, Granny? I'll be baking cookies today. I like to make flower shapes in the spring. Maybe I'll tell you my recipe one of these days. Trying to keep the art of fishing alive. I'll pay 100 G to any fisherman who catches 2 chub. Good luck. I don't remember where you catch chub from, but we'll accept it. Suppose it's a good way to spend the day as any. We can also find foraging stuff up here. Yep, so we've got a leek and a daffodil. Yeah, we've already got a leek that we're going to give the community center. I might as well do something nice. I happen to know that one of George's favorite gifts is a leek. And he's not necessarily easy to befriend because he never leaves the house except for events. I can't talk right now, young man. My favorite program is on. You're not even in the TV room. I mean, I guess it's still technically true, but yeesh. This is my favorite thing! Thank you! So, as far as friendships go, they are measured in hearts, which are milestones of an actual friendship statistic, and your friendships are sorted from best to worst. Just from giving George that leak, he's already skyrocketed to the top of the list, but he still has no hearts. So I need to work harder in order to get on his good side. You can give villagers 2 gifts a week. You can talk to them once a day. So you're a farmer, huh? Interesting. I've never met a farmer before. I wonder if I can get Pierre to cook dinner tonight. I'm hungry. Where's Mom? Alright, back to the farm we go. Drop off some of this stuff in our chest. Yeah, I don't know if we'll go fishing today. Maybe I'll just spend the rest of the day chopping down trees or something. Kinda just making time until we actually get to enter the mines. So in that case, yeah, we'll just stick with what we got. I did put the spring onions away. I figured I could save those for a rainy day. Not literally, but just on a day we don't really have good luck foraging for edible things. I like to keep a stockpile of equipment to make sure I'm never caught with my pants down. We are getting some seeds from this, so we could potentially do the field snacks. All it takes is one seed of each kind, and it's basically like a granola bar. I think personally eating raw pine cone and acorn and maple seed would be disgusting, but hey, to each their own. Clear off this little top area here, make it a little more aesthetically pleasing. Now, even if we ran out of energy, one thing we could do is cut through all of the weeds on the farm, because swinging the scythe does not take any energy. So if we are on a day where we have no more energy and no way to get any more energy to do things, then we can just go scything. Got 350G right now. I am tempted to go ahead and buy more seeds. The shop is closed as it is past 5 o'clock, but in the future I can wait for my leeks to harvest, or not my leeks, my parsnips. Once these parsnips harvest, I'll be keeping some of them to donate to the community center, but the rest will be sold, and then all of that profit will go back towards buying more seeds to get more profit off of those, to buy more seeds to get more profit off of those. It's a vicious cycle, but every now and then you make enough money that you actually feel safe getting upgrades. I don't like to buy upgrades like the backpack too early, or else you end up having to forage and fish and whatnot to get enough money to buy more seeds. And farming, especially in the early game, is one of the best ways to make money. Once you're later on in the game, it ends up being artisanal goods, such as home crafted beer and wines and stuff like that. So yeah, I figure we'll just spend the rest of the energy breaking up rocks and sticks. We will definitely need these resources later. Those of you that have watched thus far, I appreciate your patience. I know the start of the game can be pretty boring, but once we get through the mines, or get access to the mines to begin with, I think things will get a little more exciting to watch. So you'll notice there are two kinds of greenery on the farm right now. There is a difference between the weeds and grass that I'm chopping down. Oops. So this is grass, and your animals, when you have animals, or if you do, can actually graze on that grass for their food. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. We'll at least chop this. And I suppose we could actually do a little more chopping. But these weeds, they give you fiber sometimes when you chop them down. The negative side of weeds is if you don't have your crops fenced in, they can spread and destroy your crops by overtaking them. So, if you're not the kind of person that uses fencing, make sure you have your farm area well cleared of any weeds, or else you can expect to see some of your plants get destroyed. I find it's easier to just make the fence, though, than to have to try to deal with managing weeding on your farm. Not that either way is any more difficult than the other, but plus it just looks aesthetically pleasing. In the old Harvest Moon games, or Story of Seasons games as they're called now, if you didn't have a fence, then varmints would come up like moles and they would eat your crops. But Stardew, or at least since the much older Harvest Moon games, Stardew introduced the idea of the scarecrow into this sort of genre. I'm sure there's an older or a newer Harvest Moon game or Story of Seasons game that has scarecrows, but they differentiate saving your crops between needing scarecrows to scare off crows and needing fence to ward off the impending march of weeds. Oh crap, I forgot. Dang. I really hate that. So, I guess here's another thing I can show you as an example. For those that have never played, you can overexert yourself by running yourself out of energy. You can still do things like swing your axe, pickaxe, and whatnot, but using any implements past 0 energy will totally exhaust you. You'll not be able to run, so you'll be stuck at walking speed, which as you can see is a snail's pace. And on top of that, when I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm going to have hardly any energy. So might as well go to bed now. Survival burger. I can't actually make that until I have the kitchen, unfortunately. So oddly enough, even though I was overexerted, I still started the next day with full energy, which I guess is just a happy accident. But I am going to take that coincidence. Dang crow. Get out of here. Okay. I'm going to go back and read that letter quick. To our valued Joja Mart customers, our team members have removed the landslide caused by our drilling operation near the mountain lake. I'd like to remind you that our drilling operation is entirely legal pursuant to Initiative L61091 Jojico Amendment. Responsible stewardship of the local environment is our top priority. We apologize for any inconvenience this accident may have caused. As always, we valued your continued support and patronage. Morris, Joja Customer Satisfaction Representative. And our next letter. Dear Farmer Sokamai, I'd like to apologize for joking about your grandpa's old cottage when we first met. It's really a nice little house. However, you might need some more space someday. That's where I can help. If you bring me some raw materials and pay a fee, I can expand your house. The first expansion I offer includes a kitchen. With a kitchen, you'll be able to cook any recipes you've learned. Anyway, I hope you're starting to feel at home in Stardew Valley. Your local carpenter, Robin. So that letter from the Joja Co. we just received indicates that the mines are now open. So I think we're going to spend some of the day checking that out. See if we can mine any copper for our furnace. So first things first, we'll get our crops watered. We'll see how much energy we have left for the day. And with any luck, we should be able to unlock the community center today, too. We won't be able to donate anything to it quite yet. Okay. I should close the gate. And we're going to fill up our water. It would be pretty convenient to have a well up there, but just one of those quality of life things I'm not willing to spend the money on yet. Not like I can afford it yet, anyway. Yeah, so these quests you can accept from the billboard. I actually kind of forgot that I was doing those. But you can see that it has a time limit, usually 2 days. If you don't get it done by then, there's no punishment, you just lose the quest. If you accept the quest and you accomplish it, then you get a happiness benefit along with whatever reward they were going to give you. Oh, hi there. What an eyesore. This is the Pelican Town Community Center, or what's left of it anyway. It used to be the pride and joy of the town, always bustling with activity. Now, just look at it. It's shameful. These days, the young folk would rather sit in front of the TV than engage with the community. But listen to me, I sound like an old fool. Joja Corporation has been hounding me to sell them the land so they can turn it into a warehouse. Pelican Town could use the money, but there's something stopping me from selling it. I guess us old-timers like me get attached to relics of the past. Ah, well, if anyone else buys a Joja Co membership, I'm just gonna go ahead and sell it. Here, let's go inside. Huh? What's this? I guess Vincent and Jas must have been playing in here. This place is even more dilapidated than I remember. What? What's the matter? Are you ill? Oh, I swear I saw something. You saw something? I wouldn't be surprised if this place was full of rats. You're worrying me, Sokamai. Look, I think I'm gonna head home. I need some lunch. But I swear I saw something. Hey, I'll keep this place unlocked from now on. Maybe you can help catch that rat if you have some extra time. Strange. I'll have to come back and explore this building further. Actually, I'll have to come back and explore this building right now. What odd little creatures. I do not understand a lick of this. Oh well, I'm sure it's not important. So for now, there's nothing really we can do here. We're going to have to wait until tomorrow. However, something we can do now is go check out the mines. Right before I do, I'm going to drop off my extra tools, though. I really am only going to need the pickaxe. I suppose I could take the hoe or the scythe as well. The hoe for anything I might be able to dig up, and the scythe can break apart barrels and chests in the mines, but that's okay. It's not entirely necessary, and with 12 backpack slots, I'm going to need all the space I can take to be able to carry stuff home. I don't really have any items with which I could heal. I mean, I've got fish, but I want to save all these for the community center donations, so... I don't think I checked the south... Oh, wait! Actually, I should check to see if there are any spring onions in the Cindersnap Forest. And while we're down there, we'll be able to check out the merchant. So I've only got 350 G, so I don't think we'll be able to buy anything significant. But the traveling merchant sells stuff that is sometimes hard to come by. They kind of get invalidated by the end of the game, but... So yeah, a lot of the stuff is very expensive. Iridium Bar and Battery Pack, that is some very late game stuff, but definitely can't afford it. Or almost anything on this list. The only thing I can afford is a Cave Carrot, which we will probably run into while we're down in the caves, so I am not going to buy it. But the traveling trader, wandering trader, whatever you want to call it, she comes by every Friday and Sunday, and she is the only way that you can get a red cabbage seed in the first year, which is normally a year 2 crop. Alright, we've got 5 onions. So that's not too bad. Should give us just enough energy boost to get through the mining, and hopefully we won't need it for health because these do not supply almost any health. You might notice I don't have a health bar. It will appear right next to the energy the first time I take damage. But if you're at full health, it doesn't bother to show up. Alright, quickest way to the mines from here is going up. The biggest incentive to completing community center tasks is that you get several important upgrades, not to your own equipment, but to Pelican Town itself. Those will become evident as I start clearing objectives. Hey, Linus. Please don't destroy my tent. It's happened before. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, Linus likes most things you can forage, so he's pretty easy to please. Alright, Marlin. I'm probably never going to talk to this guy ever again, so... I was just peering down into this old mine shaft. It's been abandoned for decades. Still, there's probably good ore down there. But a dark place, undisturbed for so long, I'm afraid ore isn't the only thing you'll find. Here, take this. You might need it. Actually, I won't need it. Thanks for the garbage. Name's Marlin, by the way. I run the Adventurers Guild right outside. I'll keep my eye on you. Prove yourself, and I might think about making you a member. So the first task is to reach level 5. We're going to throw the rusty sword away and enter. This is where the fun really begins. Our first encounter. Now hopefully we can just manage to avoid it entirely. Yeah, we can just walk around that guy. And that's how I feel like most of the encounters in this game are gonna go. Alright, we've got quite a bit more. You gotta be careful with slimes. If you let them tackle you, then they'll slow you down pretty dramatically. So since I can't hurt them, and I can't block them, all I can do is run away. So you can kind of see the issue with having a smaller inventory, especially in the mines, because we already almost are out of room. At this point, even though there's no more ores or treasures to find, I still don't see the ladder down, so we'll have to break apart these stones to uncover it. There it is. I really want that copper ore, so I'm going to have to bait this slime away from it. Come here. Come here, buddy. You can do it. There we go. You get far enough away from you and they lose aggro. Unfortunately, not all monsters behave the same way. There could be more down there, but I'm just going to focus on going down more flights. It seems that the mine elevator is still functional. It will allow you to quickly return to any elevator doors you've discovered. A deeper expedition might be in order. So every 5 levels, this elevator will let you ride between those 5th level spots. Okay, so we found the way down. Doesn't look like there's anything we can gather here. Ah! No! Leave me alone! I got slimed. Oh crap. I'm especially gonna avoid that guy. Man, this place is dangerous without a weapon. And it only gets harder from here. So, expect to see a lot of struggles. Okay, we are already full on inventory, so I'm going to eat these onions up. That'll free up 2 spaces and give us a little more energy to keep going. Now really the ladder down can generate anywhere, but there are a few rules that I've come to notice. One of which is, at least for me, the ladder does seem to spawn more closely to the way down. So, that being said, these rocks would probably be my first pick. Yeah, see? Right there. I feel like they're always close to the ladder you take to get down to the floor you're on. But not always the case. They also are never found under large rocks. This is a special stone, and those kind of stones will often give you a random type of crystal. It's important to keep your eye out for those nodes, as they're known. So the cave carrot, as much as I would like to eat it to get back some energy, we are going to need it for one of the bundles. So that copper over there I'm just going to have to skip on. Yeah, I think we're done here. There's not really much I can do with 3 energy. 6:20 p.m. in game right now. So we can go back home, drop this stuff off, maybe clear some space on the farm with the scythe. I suppose we could also talk with the townsfolk. A lot of them do like to gather at the bar on Friday, so it's an easy way to get some friendship points. And when you have expendable money, you can buy everyone in the bar a round of beer. It doesn't necessarily do anything special, but it does improve your relationship with everyone in there just by giving them gifts. Alright, and we are also out of space in our chests, so it's time to make a second one. Where's the wood? So I suppose a little organization's in order. We'll start with our implements. And then, how else should I sort this out? Well, I suppose we can make a few different chests. So you can actually color your chest with any one of these colors in the palette to help you distinguish which chest has what in it. You can also make signs, which I do have access to, but I would rather save that 25 wood for something more important. So I am going to make one more chest. So we'll keep fish in this blue one, and fishing things. Looks like just the algae. Okay. Not the wood. Perfect. Then this green chest can be for plants. I suppose I couldn't make a third chest right now, but I'm kind of running out of wood. So we'll put trash and resources in here with our tools. Alright, that looks about right to me. We'll get it organized better once we have more room and have more wood for chests. But what we can do now that we have 20 copper ore is we can make a furnace. 25 stone is also needed. Use your furnace to smelt a copper bar. Any bar takes 5 of the respective ore and 1 coal to smelt. And it just takes time. Weather tomorrow is going to be partially cloudy, which, unless if it's raining, the weather, as far as I know, means nothing, except for certain effects that happen on screen. For example, if the wind's blowing especially strongly, you might see petals or leaves blowing by. But as far as I am aware, rain is the only weather that actually has an effect on the game. So we've got just enough copper to make one more bar. We could also smelt this quartz. I am going to want to give one of these to Gunther. That's the thing with these resources. The first one you get of each, you will be prompted to donate as you get the description. Gunther can tell you more about this if you donate it to the museum. And only once you've donated it will it tell you its actual description. It's not necessary to donate, but for a completionist like me, I tend to donate something new as soon as I find it. It can be hard to part ways with certain precious stones or things like that, especially when they are hard to find, but the rewards, most of the time, can be well worth it. Suppose we'll carry these geodes with us tomorrow. So tomorrow we are going to get access to the actual community center bundles. I suppose I'll leave my stuff in here for now, and then we'll be able to determine what would be best. I'll at least take the scythe with me, and then I'm gonna start chopping down some weeds if I can find any. There's some. Wanted to make sure I didn't bring any implements with me that could actually decrease my energy any further than it is. As you can see, I can swing this scythe all day long and it has no effect on my energy. So this is a good way to spend evenings when you've still got space to clear out on your farm. Got a couple more down here. You might actually be running out of weeds. Definitely not a bad thing to have happen. Weeds are one of the few sources of fiber in this game, so While fiber isn't used for as much as wood or stone, it is still crucial for crafting. You can also come down to the Cinder Snap Forest to collect fibers. Oh, I cannot wait until I get a light ring. Gives you a little glow around your character, which makes walking around in the evening much less painful. Not to mention, not every level in the mines is well lit. Sometimes you just walk onto levels that are in utter darkness because there are no torches left behind. You know, Marlin says that the mines have been uninhabited for decades. Who keeps those torches lit, I wonder? Maybe the same people that keep the torches lit in Dracula's castle? Okay. Might as well put the... Well, no, we're going to want all the resources together. Okay, I think it is late enough in the day that we can call it. I am going to actually get some different tools out to start out with. So we need the watering can, axe, pickaxe, might as well take the geodes with us, and all these great things that we could donate. Alright, I think that's about it. The staircase. This is something that I'm hoping will come in handy later. There are mining levels where instead of just getting a field of rocks to mine through as well as a handful of monsters, it is literally just a slew of monsters. And it won't show you the way down until you've defeated them all. So, seeing as we won't be able to hurt any monsters, that is going to be one hurdle we'll have to come over. Alright, that is going to do it for this segment of Stardew Valley. We will be returning next time to explore more of the mines, and we're going to check out what's going on in the community center. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.